Well, let's get the show started since we're all here. We're a couple minutes late and we'll try to run it through. But this is Maine and Mulberry's public policy. And we are talking about Collierville, Tennessee, which is just outside of Memphis, Tennessee. And growing economic development it is really blooming. The town is blooming in residential, school, just a growing town trying to maintain its sense of a small town, 150 plus year old community. And so we talk about that. We go behind the scenes. We have Vice Mayor Maureen Frazier with us every week, who is in her car today. She's coming from an appointment.
I'm not driving. I am parked.
Your car? Yeah. So, yeah, you better be careful on that one. Yeah. So, and then John Duncan, Town Economic Development Director. So how you doing, John?
I'm good. Good morning. I guess Maureen was over there at, you said Houston Levee and Poplar. Were you looking at property at the farms at Bailey Station, seeing if they had any vacancies over there for you?
No, I was actually at Dr. Linderman's office, an orthopedic doctor, and I had stem cell injections in my knees back in 2017. And this new technology. And so she's talking to me about doing those again. And I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But, it's better than knee replacement. But they don't say I don't need knee replacement. It's just too many years of step aerobics at Collierville United Methodist Church, I think, is what did me in. Many years ago.
Oh, gosh.
Basketball, volleyball, all that crazy stuff that we do. So anyway.
I was raking some leaves up last night, and all of a sudden my knee went. I was like, oh, what? I go, man, dude, you're getting old, getting injured, breaking some leaves in the front yard. So
I tell you what, man, that's it. It's very interesting because I work out almost every day, and I work out pretty much every muscle group. But I can go out into the backyard, just be walking around, bend down to pick up a piece of paper and pull my back and not be able to walk for a week and a half. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I mean, and I'm not saying I'm like, I work out to try to stay flexible and healthy. I'm not, that kind of, I'm not like, the first thing about CrossFit is you got to talk about CrossFit type guy, but I try to do it. But yeah, I can pull a muscle. And I was watching a YouTube by a guy that I follow, a fitness guy that I follow, and he was talking about it's just about the angles, because when you're working out, you're working certain regimented angles, you're making sure your form is perfect, but you're not worrying about your form when you're out pushing a broom or pulling a rake. You're not trying to make sure that your form. So as you get older, you have to think about those type of things and be more conscious of it. I'm going out to rake the yard. All right, well, how am I going to rake the yard? Because if I do it in a certain way, I'm good. If I lean over here and try to pull off some leaves, then I might end up at Campbell's Clinic. And you're just like, okay. So I think the key is being deliberate.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm thinking about opening up a gym, and instead of all the high tech equipment, I'm gonna have like a bed and a bathroom. And one of the things you can do is get out of the bed and walk to the bathroom. That's an exercise we'll have, because you can get injured doing that. You can get hurt on that journey. Getting out of your car in a tight squeeze, that'll be something to do. You don't want to hurt your back.
I had my car in for service, and they gave me a loaner. And John, I don't know if you saw me, but it was which I was grateful that I got the loaner car. But it used to an SUV. Well, this was a sedan that was on the ground. And I felt like I was a contortionist to try to get that low and get in it.
I was wondering whose car that.
I had it for a couple days, and then even Monday night, Missy Marshall saw me leaving our board meeting, and she's like, "Maureen, did you get a new car?" And her husband's like, "That doesn't look like you." I said, "No, it's not."
I saw that car out there. That was a nice looking vehicle.
Yeah, It was a nice loaner, and I'm appreciative that you have wheels, but I was glad to get my car back.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I think that's an awesome idea, though. I think I like that. I mean, that's got teeth, John. We should open something up like that. You replicate a car on the inside, and then you have a room. Then you have your kitchen, and best ways to practice opening the refrigerator. All the different things that you have to do. That I think that's
a big thing of laundry without a basket. Walking all this laundry through the machine. You can't drop any of it along the way. If you do, you can pick it up. There's all sorts of things.
I think that's awesome, man. And it really does have teeth, because there are one of the things I know that as people get older, the physical trainers that I've talked to, one of the things that they do is they have people just sit in a chair and stand up, sit in a chair and stand up. Because they say that's like one of the hardest things when you get older is to just be able to get up out of the chair, So all of that. So I think that practical training I like that, man. We need that's got some teeth. Maybe something up.
We can come up with a name for that for you, John.
Yeah.
Call it top shelf. Put some on the top shelf.
On the top shelf. Yeah. If we put it next door to Top
Top
Golf.
Shelf.
When's Top Golf coming, by the way?
Top Shelf. What's going in over by Home Depot or Office Depot? And that seems to be a pertinent question, since we're going to start talking about town, is what are all these things that are being built? And
you should drive over there, and you should put us on mute. Drive over there and show it to us.
No, I don't think so.
Well, no, I mean, like, put us on mute. Don't do it while you're driving.
But while I'm driving,
right. But then drive over and show it to us. But yeah, is there something new there? Some new questions on that?
There's some new construction, and it's a PetSmart, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
And Pop Shelf, which some people are familiar with Pop Shelf and others aren't. But someone told me that it's sort of like a Five Below or a Dollar Tree, but
Hobby Lobby,
higher quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Different price point. It's a national brand. It's a growing brand. So that whole space between Ichiban, Chinese Buffet, and Office Depot will be filled in, which is good. People are continuing to invest around here, so that's a positive.
It is. That's I have these. Always have reservations, but Collierville seems to show well every time. But when I hear about something like a PetSmart coming in, one of my first thoughts is, oh my goodness, there's 2 or 3 locals that are right around there. Are they going to kill them? Are they going to put them out? This national chain coming in, what are they going to do to, the bakery and the Muddy Paws and, all of the smaller ones that are out there? But seems to be Collierville does pretty well. And there's room for kind of both of those. And there's some of this, the Collierville local affinity that'll still frequent some of those, and they have more boutique things. And then the big boxes seem to do pretty well. At the same time, it seems to be that it holds up, but it always makes me worry just a little bit. I mean, I think we need them. I think we need the national chains, and those things really prove to help us through COVID.
No doubt,
big time. So, I mean, I think the economy needs it, but it always makes me, a little bit nervous for the local guys. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people we have that motto, shop local. So I think a lot of people make a conscious effort to support the local over the national chains. So, as long as they treat their customers right and you have good quality service, I think both can be very successful.
Yeah. But like we've said before, I mean, in so many ways, a national brand that is occupying real estate in our community and paying a ton of taxes, as well as providing sales tax revenue to our community, it sounds pretty local to me. I get the fact that they're owned by a company out of Minneapolis and not by a couple who lives in Oakmont, but I do think there is a certain bit of localness to these national brands that are here. So I get it. I think but it's just different strategies, different business models, and it all seems to work, especially in a town that's affluent and growing. I think there's certainly room for everybody.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for that. I mean, they are going to employ, local people, and so there's definitely something to be said for national. And I mean, even you're seeing even our shifts, like, Shop Collierville, national places can advertise now, and regional places, not just local places, because I see national places advertising on there quite a bit. And so I guess they've changed their focus. So, I mean, everybody's kind of, putting an understanding that these businesses that are creating employees and generating sales tax revenue and that kind of stuff, they do help the local economy, to your point, John.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you made the point about, our big box retailers, and because of them, they were one of the reasons why we navigated pretty successfully through COVID, because they were open and they were active, and they had impact on our revenues over those couple of years. So there's a case to be made about the benefit of each type of business. And I think all together, it makes for a pretty exciting economy for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it puts a little pressure on local guys. But I think, like Maureen said, there's local affinity out there, and people want to support those local type places. And so we'll see how it goes. It just always my first thought was always just a little bit, you know, but you know, but it's not, you know. I thought
there's a little. Wait a minute. There's a little bit of what?
Can I do it twice in the you know, I don't know if I can do it the same way twice, but yeah, just a little, you know, but I thought the same way when I was thinking about, you know, oh, you know, now they're going to be able to sell wine in Kroger. What's going to happen to the liquor stores? Liquor stores seem to be doing pretty well, you know, and so it seems to be that with Collierville right now, it's just, you know, it's like that Billy Idol song, you know, more. I mean, it doesn't matter what you put. If it's the right thing, then people are going to frequent it, and nothing has to go out for something else to go in, is what it seems like, you know.
Wow. The Billy Idol lyrics referenced in today's show. That's, ladies and gentlemen, that's what this show's all about. You never know where she's going to get here. That's good. What's the follow-up lyric to that?
With the rebel yell.
Yeah, with the rebel yell.
Yeah, I think it's the rebel yell. Yeah. But yeah.
That's a question, dead or alive, Billy Idol. I don't know. Is he still around?
Dead or I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know either.
I think he just bought a house in
Schilling Farms.
Yeah, Schilling
in your
Farms.
Neighborhood, John.
Yeah. I heard that he was going to come here, but then whenever they turned down the Ashby development, he changed his mind.
Yeah, he was going to have a concert venue in the Ashby development, so we'll have to see what happens after that. So.
Yeah, that's right. So we get the headline: Maureen and BMA kills Billy Idol, hopes and dreams.
You know, you've mentioned a couple of things, and we always, you know, Collierville's such a great community, but you talk about Shop Collierville, and then you talk about Ashby development, and you know, a lot of citizens have a lot of questions about a whole lot of things that are going on in Collierville, and you know, you have to educate them, and that's why I think this is such an important show that we do, and it's a service. You know, I mean, it's something we volunteer to do, and Maine and Mulberry is putting it on for the town and the community to know. But you know, education is so important. And you know, recently there was a post about the intersection and Sheffield's and code enforcement. I know we talked about that, I think, a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But you know, that Ashby development that was proposed, that at this point I think they've pulled back, was to improve that entire area plus the intersection at Highway 72 and Poplar. So you know, we want people to be educated. We want them to be involved, but I think more citizens need to be more educated and involved before they express their opinions, to know the total picture of it, of what could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I think that it is, and I think that I would say too, to add on to that, you know, we ran Tour Collierville for a long time, and was providing information out on social. I had a social group that was pretty active. And we understood as moderators of that group and as administrators of that group that we needed to do our homework to be able to communicate, and the things that we needed to post had to be factual as well. So I think that, you know, the general public is going to come in, and some of the public may have been here for 6 months, may have been here for 10 years. You've got all different types of people that are commenting and trying to understand what it is. Some, you know, more understanding about the town works than others. Some people are out there just stirring up stuff that aren't even from Collierville. But the moderators and the admins of these groups, I think, have a responsibility to do some homework too. You know, and it's easy to do. Hey, I'm about to post about this. I'm about to post about Sheffield's. Let me call Maureen. Let me call John. Let me call any of the aldermen. Let me find out what really is going on. Maybe check with someone in code force. You pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I run a group or whatever, and I'm looking for some information on this so that I can, you know, really inform my followers and that type of stuff. I think that's a big part of it too, Maureen. And the thing is that's hard to do, because these are volunteers as well. The people that are running these Facebook groups, they have jobs too. So, I mean, I get it, you know, I understand. It's a challenge, but there is a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of uninformed. And I think there's just some flat disinformation too. I think there's people posting stuff intentionally knowing that it's not the case and trying to stir stuff up. So you're dealing with disinformation as well. It's a tough thing for everybody. And I get it, you know, and I've been there. and I'm there every other week here as well. But it's right. You got to be informed. I think is a big piece, and I appreciate you calling out that all of us on this show are doing this just to try to help and to provide information because we participate in the community.
Right.
And so want it to be a better place. So appreciate you calling that out. I think there's some work to be done on social media in Collierville, as you guys probably heard from some of my frustrations last week. I think there's some work to be done a little bit.
Well, and you talked about people that just stir the pot. I know John sometimes gets on social media, then he gets off. And I've had so many people to say, Maureen, you just have to get off. You just cannot get engaged in this. And sometimes I type something and I don't hit send because, I just like, okay, I just have to stop. But, when you have people that, ask a lot of questions, what's going here? What's going next to Home Depot? Like we talked about a minute ago. And there's certain people that are constantly, one person, every time you post, no matter what it is, will say apartments. Now,
Right.
This person is educated. This person has run for public office in the past. This person, I believe, is a graduate of Leadership Collierville. Why in the world would you constantly say everything that's being under construction is apartments? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know who you're referring to, but yeah, it's trying to stir the pot is the only reason that it could be that, because if you know that they know differently and they're just trying to poke, and I see some things that are kind of humorous, because they're answering a question that's been asked a whole bunch of times. And so they're just trying to kind of be, funny with it, and some of it's kind of tongue in cheek when I see that stuff as well,
Right.
but I mean, I don't know. I may just start going out and making some posts that are, that's Home Depot's being replaced by Waffle House. I don't know. I just start making some things out there just to see what happens, But
well, interest. Yeah, because I've done that. I mean, people are very, even though it's oftentimes misguided or misinformed, they're very serious about it too. Because I've had some fun before and put some things out there that were just tongue in cheek, and people just explode. I'm like, all right, delete that. I was just kind of having some fun here. So it's interesting. It's a really interesting dynamic sometimes as to what where people are as it relates to what they receive on social media. By the way, I was trying to show you my lava lamp right there.
Oh my gosh.
I've resurrected the lava lamp.
Nice.
It's a beautiful thing. Everybody should have a lava lamp somewhere in there.
My daughter.
I don't see it lavaling. Is it moving around?
Oh, it's lavaling.
Oh, there you go. I see it.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, John. They don't. They do random drug tests at the town, I think, John.
Hey, test me, please.
Yeah, I'm picking on you. I just wanted you to be sure you know that you're not still at Woodstock.
Okay. Yes. It's been a while.
Now, speaking of, though, it would be nice to have a really nice outdoor concert venue in Collierville. I think that would be an awesome thing if we could pull that off, and not just the square, but a dedicated venue that's all year long that's pushing things. I know the square does a good job, but I think that would be cool. And guys, we talk tongue in cheek and we talk joking. John Duncan, if you start any crap, he does not do drugs. We're not talking. We're just having fun here, so no BS around that, please. So on that, we're just joking. But anyway,
you talk about the concert venues, and I'm speaking to the chamber lunch. I had a chamber luncheon in July, and one of the things I was going to cover was benchmarking and the towns that we look at, and explain to people just exactly what benchmarking is and why we do it. But we've talked before about Franklin, Tennessee, and that rock quarry that was just an empty pit.
Yep.
That they were innovative and creative enough and got the funding and the backing to create a Red Rocks version in Franklin, Tennessee. And that's the sort of dynamic moon mission, out of the box thinking that I think you're going to see more and more of in our community as we continue to grow and continue to evolve. I think those types of projects are heading our way versus just the kind of traditional stuff that we've done, which has been great. But I feel like we're getting ready to maybe launch into a new era of dynamic projects in this community. So we'll see. I hope that's the case anyway.
But John, do you know, is that funded by the town, or is that a private
investment? But
see, a lot of people think the town should do this and the town should do that. And my son can do the tongue-in-cheek comments on social media quite often, and It's like, is that the town's responsibility? So, you as an individual, you know, I have a good friend that was looking for some indoor pickleball. And
Yep.
so now he's looking into, and you've met him, he has
Yep.
signed a lease, my understanding, on some space to do indoor pickleball because he as an individual saw the need. So it's not always the responsibility of the town to do things, but the town will help and you will help and we'll do what we can to help them fulfill their dream in any way that we can.
Yeah, very rarely is it. And that's an information piece too, is because I do see that a lot on social media is why don't you put this here? Why don't you put that there? And we need to elect people that are going to put this there and that and the other. And you're just like, that's not what elected officials do. I mean, that's just not even the job. Now negotiating at a higher level to say, okay, now I'm at set a concert venue aside, say, and let's move to talk about a mood mission of minor league baseball. Okay, well, there could be some town involvement there because you're negotiating at a high level to say, hey, why don't you come here instead of come to Jackson, Tennessee, and you're trying to or whatever, and where you're coming, and then what can we do for taxes and how can we accommodate? But so some of that stuff is at play. But it's still, and there's sometimes there's benefit for the town retaining some level of ownership of that and of that land and it not being private. Sometimes it needs to be private. And the town just helps with those type of negotiations. Right. But those are different than, most things are privatized and we want most things to be privatized. Right. It's not, the town is not responsible for bringing a new department store, nothing you can do with it. I mean, so it's that's an information piece as well, right?
But that's why we've got to be in front of, or I've got to be in front of real estate developers, real estate investors who do these sorts of things to talk to them about the opportunity to do what they do in our community. For one thing, is like a concert venue, for example, like the one I just mentioned in Franklin, or the one I recently visited in St. Louis. Those are real estate developments, kind of like the guys that just bought Carriage Crossing and are going to revitalize that. Those types of people do those types of things. And another thing I think people forget around here sometimes is we want this, we want that, we want this. Why don't we have that? And 50% or more of the time, 3/4 of the time, those restaurants, for example, that people want are franchises. So is it my job to run around and try to find franchisees to plug into these franchises? That would be a full-time job. That would be all I would do. But you've got to continue to market your community and talk about the opportunities and the potential. And while you're having conversations with these brands, and then you're hoping that things come together where we know a franchisee, we talk to somebody in your community, they want to come there. But a lot of these restaurants are franchises, and that is a whole nother step and hurdle in the process to bring a lot of these brands to our town.
Yes. And on the flip side, if you are looking to start a franchise or looking to start a business,
right,
call John because he will help you through that, right, John? I mean, it's not your job to go find, okay, we need a XYZ. Let me go into the community and see if I can find somebody that's got the money and the know-how to do it. That's not your job. But if someone steps up and says, hey, I want to bring a Dunkin' or something that's a franchise. I don't know if Dunkin's a franchise or not, but something comes up. Kilwins, there we go. So it's Kilwins as a franchise. Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to the guy at length, and I've talked to their director of franchise, whatever his title is.
Yeah.
He likes our town, and he likes the potential here, and we're kind of working together to see if we, hopefully somewhere along the way, can find somebody to bring that product to our community, because I do think it's unique. I think it's different. It's not just a ice cream store. It's a little bit different level. And I think
making candy and fudge and all that.
You've been there. You've been there in Hot Springs. I walked into one. I don't know where I was with Melanie. Oh, look at that! They're making fudge and candied apples. And wow, I walked in. I'm like, this place is nice. I'm looking around. Then I look up. Oh, it's a Kilwins. I didn't even know. So it is a cool brand and a cool franchise. So yeah, we work with the company. But sometimes it's a big step to find the individual or the investors to actually do it in your community. So,
but if you are in the community or you're an investor or something, you can still call you, right, John? And you'll say, here's some places I know where they're open. Here's a developer that I can put you with. You can help connect the dots on some of that too, right?
No doubt. Here are the demographics, and here are the traffic patterns, and here's what we see that part of town becoming 3, 5, 10 years. So all those sorts of things. So we can be kind of that Sherpa that helps people climb the mountain. So that's what we're here for. We're here to serve and help and educate. But sometimes I think maybe getting back to the whole social media thing, I don't know if people fully realize or understand the process and how a lot of this stuff works. Just like the guys that just bought Carriage Crossing. I had dinner with a real estate investor, and I told him about Edwards Realty, and then his first question was, well, who's their money? Who's their money source? And I go, I don't know that. And I pivoted and had another conversation with Edwards, and they told me that. I wasn't even thinking about that. So these deals and processes are a little more complicated sometimes than I think most people realize. But suffice it to say, Maureen, you, me, we're fully engaged trying to make things happen. And we've got the product, we got the foundation for a lot of these types of things to happen, for sure. So.
Yeah. And see, I think outside the box a little bit. I think or maybe it's not outside the box. Maybe I'm just weird. But I think that, if I were trying to bring a Kilwins, then Maureen, you mentioned Lifetime, I would be getting all the fitness places together and then making a pitch to bring in a Kilwins. That's what I would do, because they're going to go up. The more chocolate people eat, the more they're going to go exercise. I mean, it's all a circle, right? So, I mean, I would be pulling that group together, an alliance there, and trying to bring in more dessert places, more fried food places, that type of stuff.
Well, that's why we're sort of chuckling a little bit that Chipotle and Jersey Mike's are right there as you drive into El Sporta or La Sporta. What is the name of that fitness facility?
East Sporta.
It's kind of cool that that's right outside their front door.
Next to Chick-fil-A and the Donut Hut.
Right.
Yeah. All great products for sure, but it's just it's been kind of
it's an ecosystem.
Fun to watch. Yeah, man. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It is an ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem. Yeah. And I love it.
I've never, it's like I used to tell people, have you ever seen Shawshank Redemption? I go, no, I've never seen Shawshank. People are like, you've never seen Shawshank? And I finally was ashamed. I watched it. Now I'm like, hey, you've never seen Shawshank Redemption? I've never had Chipotle.
I haven't either, actually.
I haven't either.
Oh, really? Okay. Because, around here you got Moe's, right? Which I guess is very similar to Chipotle. But as far as that brand, I've never been in there. And people just say, you've never been to Chipotle? I'm like, no. And evidently it is really good. And people are pretty excited that product's coming to town. So.
Yeah, I know they got some really bad press a while back, and they had to retool some of their facilities over that big deal. But I think they've got all that straightened out now, right? And back on the
What do they have a sanitation issue or something like that?
It's like listeria or something in one of the plants they was sent in, and so they had to shut down and retool some warehouses. It was national type news, but people were upset because they're like, I want to eat Chipotle. I mean, and they had to. It was a big deal. It's a big deal.
My daughter in South Carolina loves Chipotle. And of course, my husband, and being in the agricultural background and all that going on, he's like, you got to quit eating it. You got to quit eating it. She's like, no, I can't.
Right. So, yeah. When that was happening.
I don't believe I've had Chipotle.
Yeah.
But we have tried the new Jimmy John's that's finally open.
Yeah, I've had it a couple times. I like Jimmy John's. So it'll be the battle of Jimmy John's and Jersey Mike's coming up here soon. That'll be interesting. So then Firehouse is in the mix. We'll get them all up there.
And then
we had our IDB Industrial Development Board luncheon a couple of days ago, and I catered in Firehouse for that, and that was very good. And there were some leftover sandwiches, so I put them in the refrigerator and on the sandwiches because I think sometimes there's people snooping around in the refrigerator. I wrote the words "Joiner" on the box, the sandwich box,
there you go.
Put it in there, thinking nobody's going to touch the mayor's sandwiches. And I told Stan about that. He goes, "Well, you might be careful. You don't know what people might do to my sandwich." So it was kind of funny. So
would have been funny if he would have eaten it.
Yeah, I'd be like, wait, But yeah, Firehouse.
Somebody got me a sandwich. Yeah.
So. Firehouse is a good. In fact, I brought some cookies into the BMA work session that day, so we were spreading the love that day for sure.
John said he made them himself, so we were all impressed.
Gotcha. Yeah. He was doing it while he made it at the fire station when he was volunteering. He made cookies and brought them in to Firehouse. Right. But there again, good franchises coming here, but you need a franchisee. I think I heard that franchise started off one way and then sold to somebody else.
It sure did.
But those are opportunities. And franchises are, they can help you get started. They're expensive, but they can definitely help you get started because you got the brand recognition. But that is one piece that I talk about. You guys know I'm a big proponent of local, but if you're a franchisee, then I think you are local. I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think if you're a franchisee, you may have brought in a national brand to bring people to your store, but you own it. You put towards the investment. You're putting the sweat out there. That all of that is coming from local research. Well, I mean, I guess somebody that you could be outside investor that's starting it, I guess. But if you're local and you do a franchise, then you should be considered local in my mind.
Well, you look, just as an example, Keith and John, the McDonald's at Houston Levy, that local franchisee, Mr. Pena, I believe it is, Alex. I mean, what he's doing in the giving back, I mean, he's doing a lot of fundraising for a lot of the school groups and the Collierville High School band. And obviously McDonald's is a franchise, but he's definitely engaged right here in our community in many, many ways. I think he also this week, what they were feeding this week has dispatchers, first responders. There's something we're honoring this week. I think it's the dispatchers, and I think his store was feeding everyone.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I didn't even realize that McDonald's did franchises. I thought they were all corporate owned. I didn't even know that they did franchises.
And then they said yesterday at the chamber luncheon that Stack's Pancakes is the first. That owner spoke for just a few minutes. And it's the first franchise. He is a franchisee, the first franchisee for Stack's.
Really? I didn't know that either. Okay.
He mentioned that it's opening, I believe, I don't know if it's public, but they said yesterday at the luncheon, it opens on Monday of next week. No?
I hope so. Okay. I hope so. I was in there a couple days ago. It's gorgeous, man. It is nice. Yeah. It is big. It is big. It's going to be, that place is going to be rocking. There's no doubt about that. It's a great location. It's a great location. They got beautiful booths in there. All these booths everywhere. Nice tables, good decorations, patio, location, visibility, parking. Great product. I think it's going to crush it. It's going to crush it.
It is. I don't think there's any question I think there's going to be lines around the building. And I like you, I was at Jim's Monday night and I stopped by and looked in the window there at Stack's, and it's coming along. It looked like it was getting ready. They got employees ready to hire, signs on the outside, that type of stuff. So I'm excited about Stack's. I think that's good. But so we got about 5 minutes left. I got to end on time because I got to protest, fried chicken, Christian-owned places coming to Collierville. But anything else we want to go over before we end up here?
Maureen, you got anything you want to talk about?
We're just business as usual. More work sessions talking about revenues and tax rates and what is it gonna look like? So we're still work in progress. Ambulance service is going well, and we're making plans for our fire station number 6. So that's going to be a big impact on our budget to staff that and operate another fire station. But as we grow and more people want to be here because it's such an awesome community, we've got to provide safety and security.
That's number one, right? I saw you. I guess you guys were doing something with the new fire truck coming in, because I saw you at the train station when I was pulling in, heading to the office the other day. I saw you standing out maybe a couple of weeks ago, but saw you standing out there. But yeah, I mean, that's the core. We talk about a lot of things here, but that's the core of it. And I do think that I will give props on social media to that piece of it. I think people do pretty well. I see on social media, hey, I saw this in my webcam. Hey, you guys look out for this. Something happened, or that people are trying to be conscious about security, and so I got to give props to that. I'm angry at social media a lot, but the people are doing a pretty good job there. Collierville Police does a pretty good job on social media. I think social media is helping us to be safe and secure, and that's the backbone. Nothing comes here if we're not safe and secure, right? Exactly. So I mean that's the backbone. So I gotta give credit where credit's due, and I do think social media is helping in that regard a little bit. Don't you guys?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And we have good information that's being put out. And when we had the tornadoes in the area, just the amount of correspondence and information that was being sent out was very helpful to everyone in the area. And we have that reverse alert system. So make sure people sign up for that and sign up for the Collierville, the newsletter on our website.
Yep. Cool deal. All right, guys. John, you got anything else before you wrap us up?
No, nothing really, other than had a discussion this morning with Jennifer Casey, our PIO, about this community and how we truly are bigger beyond our borders because of some of the phone calls we've received of late. So that branding and marketing and recognition and knowledge of continues to bubble up beyond kind of local and regional. It's certainly become broader than that, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool to see and to hear and to do. And that's kind of was the goal at the beginning, is to take this brand out beyond our borders. And
sure.
It's working. It's working.
Yeah. It sounds like the makings of a new slogan for economic development there, John. Sounds like you guys are doing some
always astute, Keith.
Yeah, there you go.
You're a pretty wise man, buddy, for sure.
You should package it with do you drink B&B? You should package it. You should send that out like little bottles of B&B out with bigger beyond borders.
Do I drink B&B? Okay, yeah.
Right.
I don't even know what B&B is.
Oh man, it's a dessert drink. It's really good. It's like, I think it's Benedictine and bourbon or something like that.
It's an aperitif.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, really good. But you could get little bottles of it. It's expensive, but you get little bottles and send it out with your Beyond Borders, your B&B, type slogan there.
Instead of the barbecue sauce that I gave away a couple of years ago, I can give away B&B now. So
yeah, there you go.
I'll work on that. Or a knife. I can maybe partner with your knife client and maybe we give out knives.
There you go. Yeah, come to Collierville, cutting through the minutia. Yeah,
we're on the cutting edge.
Cutting edge. Yeah.
Yeah, let's cut a rug. Send a rug and that's what you do for the concert venue. You send a rug and a knife and you say, hey, we're ready to cut a rug. Let's start a concert venue. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, that's how it happens, man. You gotta get people's attention somehow. So awesome.
Yeah. So
well, good. All
right. Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be here week after next. Hit us up if you have any questions. You want to know the facts. These guys are the ones to bring it to you. And that you can hear it every other Thursday here, but there's plenty of places to find information in the meantime. So just like I said, hit us up, hit the town up, stay informed, and we'll be with you next week after next. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.